we completed our step 5, 6, we said completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 8 we made our list, so we got the yes, the maybes, and the no's. And now we're going to give you the direction on how to make these amends. Go ahead.
Now we go out to our fellows and repair the damage done in the past. We attempt to sweep away the debris which has accumulated out of our effort to live on self-will and run the show ourselves. If we haven't the will to do this, we ask until it comes. Remember, it was agreed at the beginning we would go to any lengths for victory over alcohol.
Can you please highlight all of this? So now we go out to our fellows and repair the damage done in the past. All the way to, we will go to any length for victory over alcohol. So basically, go for it. We will give you the direction. We will show you exactly how to go out there and make your amends.
Probably there are still some misgivings. As we look over the list of business acquaintances and friends we have hurt, we may feel diffident about going to some of them on a spiritual basis.
Just that you know, the word diffident, it means modest, shy. We go there without being arrogant. We just go there, with humility. Practice principle 7.
Let us be reassured. To some people, we need not and probably should not emphasize the spiritual feature on our first approach. We might prejudice them. At the moment, we are trying to put our lives in order, but this is not an end in itself.
Can you highlight, at the moment, we are trying to put our lives in order, but this is not an end in itself.
Our real purpose is to fit ourselves to be of maximum service to God and the people about us.
Can you highlight, please? Our real purpose is to fit ourselves to be of maximum service to the solution and the people about us. That's our purpose, to take that solution and helping other people with it.
It is seldom wise to approach an individual who still smarts from our injustice to him and announce that we have gone religious. In the prize ring, this would be called leading with the chin. Why lay ourselves open to being branded fanatics or religious bores? We may kill a future opportunity to carry a beneficial message. But our man is sure to be impressed with a sincere desire to set right the wrong. He is going to be more interested in a demonstration of goodwill than in our talk of spiritual discoveries.
Okay, can you highlight, please? So he's going to be more interested in a demonstration of goodwill than in our talk of spiritual discovery. To talk about the solution, don't talk about God. And I think this has been included in a big book I've read about Bill W. initially when he was trying to carry the message. He kept talking about God because of his spiritual awakening, very profound, very sudden spiritual awakening. And he went back to Dr. Sickworth and he explained to Dr. Sickworth that people didn't really buy it, and he was told, why don't you share your story instead of talking about God? And God restore you to sanity. Just share what happened to you. And I think this may be why the phrase is here. Again, don't believe everything that I say. Do a little bit of your own research. And if I'm wrong, let me know.
We don't use this as an excuse for shying away from the subject of God. When it will serve any good purpose, we are willing to announce our convictions with tact and common sense. The question of how to approach the man we hated will arise. It may be he has done us more harm than we have done him. And though we may have acquired a better attitude towards him, we are still not too keen about admitting our faults. Nevertheless, with a person we dislike, we take the bit in our teeth. It is harder to go to an enemy than to a friend, but we find it much more beneficial to us. We go to him in a helpful and forgiving spirit, confessing our former ill feeling and expressing our regret.
Can you please highlight? So we go to him in a helpful and forgiving spirit, confessing our former ill feelings and expressing our regret. I always say to people, when you go and make your amends, so first of all, be ready to make the amend. If you're not ready and if you might do it again, there's no point of doing it, because that's your only chance to really make that amend and not doing it again. But also, I don't suggest that you should tell the whole of what you might have done or what you might have said, because some of the people might not know the extent of it. So therefore, just go there expressing your ill feeling, but without going into too much details. Just tell them how sorry you are.
Under no condition do we criticise such a person or argue. Simply we tell him that we will never get over drinking unless we have done our utmost to straighten out the past. We are there to sweep off our side of the street. realizing that nothing worthwhile can be accomplished until we do so, never trying to tell him what he should do.
Can you please highlight all of this? So under no condition do we criticize such a person or argue. We simply tell them that we never get over drinking until we have done our utmost to straighten out the past, all the way to tell him what he should do. Never trying to tell him what he should do.
His faults are not discussed, we stick to our own. If our manner is calm, frank and open, we will be gratified with the result. In 9 cases out of 10, the unexpected happens.
Can you please highlight? His faults are not discussed. We stick to our own. If our manner is calm, frank and open, we will be gratified with the result. In 9 cases out of 10, the unexpected happens. So when you go to people, remember, you don't go to make an amends to somebody. I'm really sorry for what I've said and done. However, you said this and you've done that. It's not about this. We want to clear up our side of the street. It doesn't matter what they said or what they've done. We just want to make sure we put it right.
Sometimes the man we are calling upon admits his own fault, so feuds of years standing melt away in an hour. Rarely do we fail to make satisfactory progress.
Can you please highlight? Rarely do we fail to make satisfactory progress.
Our former enemies sometimes praise what we are doing and wish us well. Occasionally they will offer assistance. It should not matter, however, if someone does throw us out of his office. We have made our demonstration, done our part. It's water over the dam. Most alcoholics owe money. We do not dodge our creditors. Telling them what we are trying to do, we make no bones about our drinking. They usually know it anyway, whether we think so or not. Nor are we afraid of disclosing our alcoholism on the theory it may cause financial harm. Approached in this way, the most ruthless creditor will sometimes surprise us. Arranging the best deal we can, we let these people know we are sorry. Our drinking has made us slow to pay. We must lose our fear of creditors no matter how far we have to go, for we are liable to drink if we are afraid to face them.
Okay, can you highlight? We must lose our fear of creditors no matter how far we have to go, for we are liable to drink if we are afraid to face them. Pay back what you can. I worked with somebody who had stolen money from a shop where he was working, and instead of going to them and going into all the details, he didn't have money, couldn't pay that money back. So what he did, he went to that shop and explained some of the things that he had done, and he offered to work there for a few days a week in order to make back and to pay back that company. And if they accepted, so what he did is done a few days work in order to pay back what he owed them, and that was his amend done. And that's called, what do we call that? A living amend.
Perhaps we have committed a criminal offence which might land us in jail if it were known to the authorities. We may be short in our accounts and unable to make good. We have already admitted this in confidence to another person, but we are sure we would be imprisoned or lose our job if it were known. Maybe it's only a petty offence, such as padding the expense account. Most of us have done that sort of thing. Maybe we are divorced and have remarried, but haven't kept up the alimony to number one. She is indignant about it and has a warrant out for our arrest. This is a common form of trouble too. Although these reparations take innumerable forms, there are some general principles which we find guiding. Reminding ourselves that we have decided to go to any lengths to find a spiritual experience, we ask that we be given strength and direction to do the right thing, no matter what the personal consequences might be. We may lose our position or reputation or face jail, but we are willing. We have to be. We must not shrink at anything.
Okay, can you highlight this whole paragraph, please? Reminding ourselves that we have decided to go to any length to find a spiritual experience, we ask that we be given strength and direction to do the right thing, no matter what the personal consequences may be. We may lose our position or reputation or face jail, but we are willing. We have to be, we must not shrink at anything. I've worked with a lot of people, but never have been in a situation where people face jail. And I really don't know how this needs to be worked around. But in your heart of heart, you know the right thing to do, and you will have to do whatever is necessary for you to make it right.
Usually, however, other people are involved. Therefore, we are We are not to be the hasty and foolish martyr who would needlessly sacrifice others to save himself from the alcoholic pit. A man we know had remarried. Because of resentment and drinking, he had not paid alimony to his first wife. She was furious. She went to the court and got an order for his arrest. He had commenced our way of life, had secured a position, and was getting his head above water. It would have been impressive heroics if he had walked up to the judge and said, "Here I am." We thought he ought to be willing to do that if necessary, but if he were in jail, he could provide nothing for either family. We suggested he write his first wife, admitting his faults and asking forgiveness. He did, and also sent a small amount of money.
Okay, can you please stop? And can we highlight two different things here? We suggested one color and asking forgiveness another color. And these are the little part that I'm not quite sure about, because it's, what it says, the guidance here in the big book tells us, we suggest you go out and you ask for forgiveness. My only problem with that is when I go out and I ask for forgiveness, I'm being self-seeking. I'm going to say something or do something, but I expect something in return. All I will say to you guys, although it tells us to go and ask for forgiveness, if you want to go and ask for forgiveness, go ahead. But what I will strongly suggest, is you go there without an expectation. Therefore, when you make your amends, if they want to offer forgiveness, they would offer it. If they're not offering of forgiveness, you can still walk away and be okay with it. But if you expect something, you might get a little bit disappointed and you might walk away with another resentment. So think about it, but the direction are very clear. We suggest ask forgiveness. If you want to do this, do this. But remember, we might be self-seeking and expect something in return.
He told her what he would try to do in the future. He said he was perfectly willing to go to jail if she insisted. Of course she did not, and the whole situation has long since been adjusted. Before taking drastic action which might implicate other people, we secure their consent.
Very important. Before taking drastic action which might implicate other people, we secure their consent.
If we have obtained permission, have consulted with others, asked God to help, and the drastic step is indicated, we must not shrink. This brings to mind a story about one of our friends. While drinking, he accepted a sum of money from a bitterly hated business rival, giving him no receipt for it. He subsequently denied having received the money and used the incident as a basis for discrediting the man. He thus used his own wrongdoing as a means of destroying the reputation of another. In fact, his rival was ruined. He felt that he had done a wrong he could not possibly make right. If he opened that old affair, he was afraid it would destroy the reputation of his partner, disgrace his family, and take away his means of livelihood. What right had he to involve those dependent upon him? How could he possibly make a public statement exonerating his rival? After consulting with his wife and partner, he came to the conclusion that it was better to take those risks than to stand before his Creator guilty of such ruinous slander. He saw that he had to place the outcome in God's hands, or he would soon start drinking again, and all would be lost anyhow. He attended church for the first time in many years. After the sermon, he quietly got up and made an explanation. His action met widespread approval, and today he is one of the most trusted citizens of his town. This all happened years ago. The chances are that we have domestic troubles. Perhaps we are mixed up with women in a fashion we wouldn't care to have advertised. We doubt if in this respect alcoholics are fundamentally much worse than other people, but drinking does complicate sex relations in the home. After a few years with an alcoholic, a wife gets worn out, resentful and uncommunicative. How could she be anything else? The husband begins to feel lonely, sorry for himself. He commences to look around in the nightclubs or their equivalent for something besides liquor. Perhaps he is having a secret and exciting affair with the girl who understands. In fairness, we must say that she may understand. But what are we going to do about a thing like that? A man so involved often feels very remorseful at times, especially if he is married to a loyal and courageous girl who has literally gone through hell for him. Whatever the situation, we usually have to do something about it. If we are sure our wife does not know, should we tell her? Not always, we think.
Can you please highlight? This is very important. Not always, we think. There are going to be times when there are amends or there are situations you just cannot tell people because you're going to hurt them. And you have absolutely no right to dump your shit on the shoulders of somebody else just to make yourself feel better. So we can't do this at all. Okay.
If she knows in a general way that we have been wild, should we tell her in detail? Undoubtedly, we should admit our fault. She may insist on knowing all the particulars. She will want to know who the woman is and where she is. We feel we ought to say to her that we have no right to involve another person. We are sorry for what we have done, and God willing, it shall not be repeated. More than that we cannot do. We have no right to go further. Though there may be justifiable exceptions, and though we wish to lay down no rule of any sort, we have often found this the best course to take.
Okay, and I just want to mention something here. You see, again, there are meetings you're going to attend where they're going to say we talk only about alcohol at this meeting. We've now discovered in Bill's story that actually they were using drugs, like morphine. And here we all also can identify that sex also was another way to use, just basically having an affair with another woman or use sex in order to feel the hole in the soul. So remember that alcohol is merely a symptom of the problem. It is a manifestation of the problem. It is not the problem. So when you go to meetings, alcohol, sex, sugar, gambling, and all of these are part of the problem. Okay?
Our design for living is not a one-way street. It is as good for the wife as for the husband.
Okay, can you highlight? Our design for living is not a one-way street. And what is the design for living, by the way?
Practice and carry.
That's right, practice and carry.
If we can forget, so can she. It is better, however, that one does not needlessly name a person upon whom she can vent jealousy. Perhaps there are some cases where the utmost frankness is demanded. No outsider can appraise such an intimate situation. It may be that both will decide that the way of good sense and loving kindness is to let bygones be bygones. Each might pray about it, having the other one's happiness uppermost in mind. Keep it always in sight that we are dealing with that most terrible human emotion, jealousy. Good generalship may decide that the problem be attacked on the flank rather than risk a face-to-face combat. If we have no such complication, there is plenty we should do at home. Sometimes we hear an alcoholic say that the only thing he needs to do is to keep sober.
Can you please highlight? Sometimes we hear an alcoholic say that the only thing he needs to do is keep sober, and we know that's not true. You need to make your amends, and you need to practice the design for living. Carry and practice.
Certainly he must keep sober, for there will be no home if he doesn't. But he is yet a long way from making good to the wife or parents whom for years he has been so shockingly treated. Passing all understanding is the patient mothers and wives have had with alcoholics. Had this not been so, many of us would have no homes today. We would perhaps be dead. The alcoholic is like a tornado roaring his way through the lives of others.
Can you highlight? The alcoholic is like a tornado roaring his way through the life of others. And that's so true.
Hearts are broken, sweet relationships are dead, affections have been uprooted, selfish and inconsiderate habits have kept the home in turmoil. We feel a man is unthinking when he says that sobriety is enough. He is like the farmer who came out of his cyclone cellar to find his home ruined. To his wife he remarked, "Don't see anything the matter here, Ma. Ain't it grand the wind stopped blowing?"
Okay, can you please highlight all of this? I love that too. We feel a man is unthinking when he says that sobriety is enough. He's like the farmer who came up out of his cyclone cellar to find his home ruined. To his wife he remarked, "Don't see anything matter here, Ma. Ain't it grand the wind stopped blowing?"
Yes, there is a long period of reconstruction ahead. We must take the lead. Our remorseful mumbling that we are sorry won't fill the bill at all.
Can you please highlight a remorseful mumbling that we are sorry won't fill the bill at all?
We ought to sit down with the family and frankly analyse the past as we now see it, being very careful not to criticise them. Their defects may be glaring, but the chances are that our own actions are partly responsible.
Can you please highlight? Their defect may be glaring, but the chances are that our own actions are partly responsible.
So we clean house with the family, asking each morning in meditation that our Creator show us the way of patience, tolerance, kindliness, and love.
Okay, can you highlight? So we clean house with the family, asking each morning in meditation that our Creator show us the way of patience, tolerance, kindliness, and love. And this, when we get to step 11, you will understand what we're doing. But this is part of your step 11 morning. Can you write here on the side, step 11 morning? Because remember, the step 11 has got a night part when we retire at night, and it has a morning part. A lot of people are confused, and they keep saying we do step 10 at night. We do not do a step 10 at night. A step 10 is practiced throughout the day. In the evening, however, we do a step 11, the night part, and we do step 11 morning part the following morning. Go ahead.
The spiritual life is not a theory, we have to live it.
Can you please highlight the theory? The spiritual life is not a theory, we have to live it.
Unless one's family expresses a desire to live upon spiritual principles, we think we ought not to urge them. We should not talk incessantly to them about spiritual matters. They will change in time. Our behaviour will convince them more than our words.
Can you highlight our behavior will convince them more than our words? So what is this again?
The living amends.
Living amends, that's right. So basically, there are going to be times, I will always say with the family, mom and dad, brothers and sisters, we've apologized to them so often that it means absolutely nothing to them. And for me, the best way to make an amend to my family and the people that I love around me is by making a living amend, showing them how different my life is today. And that's the best gift. That's the best amend you can make.
We must remember that 10 or 20 years of drunkenness would make a skeptic out of anyone. There may be some wrongs we can never fully right. We don't worry about them if we can honestly say to ourselves that we would right them if we could.
Can you please highlight? So this is very important. There may be some wrongs we can never fully right. We don't worry about them if we can honestly say to ourselves that we will right them if we could. There might be people you will never be able to make an amend to, but if in your heart of heart you know that you would do it if you could, it's done. Don't worry about it, it's done. But don't use that as an excuse not to make your amends, by the way.
Some people cannot be seen. We send them an honest letter.
Stop. Can you highlight? Some people cannot be seen. We send them an honest letter. And I would say that we do that to the people who've passed, the people who are gone. We write a letter and we go to a quiet place or on their grave or somewhere where we can read it out loud.
And there may be a valid reason for postponement in some cases, but we don't delay if it can be avoided. We should be sensible, tactful, considerate and humble without being servile or scraping. As God's people, we stand on our feet, we don't crawl before anyone.
Okay, can you highlight all of this, please? And there may be a valid reason for postponement in some cases, all the way. So we don't crawl before anyone. And can you underline humble? That's principle 7. So remember, step 9, you've got the direction for your step 9 now. There might be time when you need to take time to make your amends. There might be time you might not be able to make your amends. The most important thing is when you go and make an amend, you make sure you're not going to do it again. And also try to make as many face-to-face amends. We're talking about direct amends to people. Today with the technology, the Facebook, the WhatsApp, the text messages, try to make a direct amend to people. It's really, really important because that's going to bring, humility, and that's going to sound true when you are in front of people. You're going to face your fears, you're going to have the courage, you have the integrity, the willingness, and you're going to be able to accept the outcome. So face-to-face amend are really, really important if you can do them.
If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realise that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not.
Think not.
They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialise if we work for them.
So, what is this?
Promises.
Step 9 promises. They are not the big book promises. They are the step 9 promises. And if you've completed all the other steps, something should have started changing in you. Well done.